separate heats, 4 riders apiece. They're going to have 2 runs of 60 seconds are on the clock, and the best run is going to be the one that counts and put you up on top of that podium. So 12 riders, 3 heats, 4 riders each, 2 runs, 60 seconds, best run that counts.
When we talk about BMX Freestyle, we really want to highlight that freestyle aspect, but there's a lot of things that go into a judged sport like this. What are the criterias?
We have the difficulty and consistency, amplitude and flow, originality and style, control and execution, and progression and variety. Basically what that comes down to is this park was designed specifically for the second stop of the FISE World Series, and our judges want to see a rider throw down in that 60 seconds and really utilize it. There's our judges panel consisting of legendary BMX riders. One thing to note, we do have Christy Hughes, a BMX female rider up there who is going to be giving her numeric value from 0 to 100. But we do have Van Homan, Dave Cleworth, Ruben Alcantara, and also Marcus Vilke, who are legendary riders.
I mean, that's so nice to be able to see judges like that. I mean, they're not judges, they're absolute legends in the sport of BMX. This is such a nice environment to come out, and you have all these people coming from decades of creating BMX freestyle as it is and putting it into contest format and now seeing it push into the Olympics. So happy to have that incredibly talented and legendary panel of judges up there. Well, we had the riders lined up. We went down through a huge qualification, over 30 female BMX athletes, but let's see who are the top 12 you'll be seeing today.
Welcome to the party, Montpellier, the UCI BMX Freestyle World Cup Women's Final. 12 of the top female BMX professionals on earth are about to do battle. Only one can leave here victorious. Are you ready to meet your riders? From Argentina, Analia Zacarias. Representing Germany, Jennifer Rollrab. Last year's champion here in Montpellier, representing Japan, Minato Ike. First time in the finals for this young woman, representing Australia, Natalia Deem. The #1 female BMXer in Chile. Say hello to Macarena Perez. Representing the USA, another familiar face here in the finals, Angie Marino. The 2018 Olympic junior gold medalist, the first female to get a BMX medal at the Olympics. Say hello to Germany's Laura Lessman. First time at the finals here in Montpellier for this woman. Say hello to the United States' is Chelsea Woe. Riding for Switzerland. Please say hello to Nikita Ducaro. Coming off a massive win a few weeks ago at FISE in Madrid, Spain. Riding for British Cycling, this is Charlotte Worthington. Representing the United States, 2018 World Champion. Say hello to Paris Benegas. And your 2018 UCI BMX Freestyle World Cup winner from the United States, Hannah Roberts.
Well, there you go, an incredibly talented field of females right there on screen, getting ready to start off this final day here in Montpellier. The sun has set. It is scorching out there. Our crowd is in numbers, and there is the incredible list. I mean, you have so many talented females right there. We're ready to check out. I mean, especially Oike Minotu coming off that defending win from last year. She's really pushing, but she's only qualified in a third to last position. We have riders like Chelsea Wolf, who really blew us away at our first stop in Hiroshima, but then moving down to Hannah Robbins as well. Determination and eye of the tiger. What does Heat 1 look like, Daryl?
Argentina, Germany, Japan, and Australia. Look at the international heat that we've got. Analia Zacharias is going to be our first rider. Such an exciting athlete on the course. We talked about our first stop that we saw in Hiroshima being the real-time live progression of women's freestyle BMX. The final was the most exciting we have ever seen. I'm going to say even for men or women out there, because we're getting all these diverse riding styles coming together. Women's BMX freestyle is really finding its footing, its own voice, and we're starting to see riders come out with their own unique styles out here.
Well, you want to follow more of the women's action here at the FISE, you can tune into our social media. You just saw the box on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at FISE World. Make sure you hashtag your posts to stay involved with the action out here today. FISE Montpellier. That's F-I-S-E Montpellier. It will be an incredible 2 days of jam-packed action happening out here, but it's a 5-day festival. If you haven't seen all the action, you can get it online.
Well, we've got our first rider getting ready to roll. 60 seconds are on the clock right now as the Argentinian rider drops in on top of the elevated quarter pipe. Looking for that turn down, trying to twist sideways over the spine, setting up for a big toboggan. That's where you grab the seat and twist the handlebars over that step-up box jump feature. Yes, utilizing that hip right there. So a rider can start from any spot they want on the course and basically set themselves up, hopefully for success, to utilize the most that this course has to offer in that allotted time frame. The judges want to see big tricks like that tuck no-hander all the way up to the sky and then dropping into that big vert bowl.
I mean, that's where we're talking about some of the big changes that Hurricane Parks has put into this course right now. We talked about the middle feature, especially that vert wall section where Analia is coming into right now. But as well, if you look onto that back wall, that front wall used to be an elevated platform about 2 meters high. I think this has really created a lot more flow for the BMX.
Yeah, wrapping things up there with a one-footed X-up. I believe that was after the buzzer. So, Ryan, we know that the riders do have 60 seconds on the clock. How does that work for a rider if they are utilizing the last final moments right there as far as the scores count with the judges?
Well, for the new UCI ruling, it's basically classified that the rider has to be setting up on the ramp, so basically on the takeoff of the kicker to get that last trick off. Then, once the buzzer sounds, they have a final 3 seconds to finish that trick and get it down in order for it to count into their final scores. That means you're not able to do some linked manual trick. You have to get one trick directly off 3 seconds to finish it up. First score coming in right there for Zacharias with 56.60.
So what you're saying is a rider has to be clearly approaching getting ready to take off that trick. It's not necessarily 3 additional seconds, but if they are setting up, they've got 3 seconds to get that one trick done. So let's say if a rider was approaching to do a trick on a quarter pipe, they got that extra little bonus. The judges know where to keep that and get that counting. So that's very interesting to see how that will play out, because the judges want to see a big exclamation point at the end of the... They want to see a big exclamation point at the end of the rider's run. So our second rider who is going to be rolling in, we have Jennifer Woolrob. Here we go, Jennifer dropping things off from the elevated part as well. Looks like our first 2 riders taking a similar approach on the course, but that definitely was her own unique way, twisting things into an X-up and then looking for the turn down. Jennifer Woolrob, 15 seconds into her run. Big turn down on that vert quarter pipe. Yes, getting upside down, putting that foot plant on that volcano. Talk about that being one of the most unique features here in the park. That's one of the things that the judges realized stands out from our riders on the course. They might have encountered some of these obstacles prior, such as the box jump or a regular quarter pipe that we had at a different stop of the FISE World Series, but the fact that they get put together in such unique ways, such as on that centerpiece, when a rider can really bring it, that stands out to the judges. 6 seconds go for Jennifer as she goes over the hip, both different directions, just getting her flow on. And that is going to be time right there for Jennifer Wohlraab.
See, they're giving the pound to Catfish, our MC. Our live MC there on course, getting the Montpellier crowd on their feet time and time again.
Great combination, getting that body weight shifted. That time you see just one look down out of the quarter pipe. And here on top of the volcano, getting that back end of the bike coming out over the top of that big step feature, over the spine, grabbing the tire. That is an enormous step down spine, and then taking the hand off, twisting the handlebar sideways over the step up. See the background right there behind our judges. That's the Les River going right through beautiful Montpellier, setting the backdrop and the scene for a 64.80. So Jennifer's going to sit in that top spot. Again, it is a best run format that counts. And last year in 2018, the rider that had the best score was Japan's Oiki Minato, who is going to be our next rider to take to the battlefield.
Like you said, defending champion coming out of Montpellier with the win last year. Doing it for Japan. Just a very emotional victory for her here in France last year. Started off big there with that turn down over the spine and huge extension on her tuck no-hander right there. Great height as well on that wall.
One of the most exciting things for women's freestyle, in my opinion, is the fact of the bike control and confidence level that has just been with each competition. And Oiki's definitely been leading that charge. You can see beyond the awesome tricks that she can do, just the overall bike control. Look at that, the bar spin up on top of that step up, but also kicking that back end out, just showing you that she's got the confidence. And there's that bike control going for that step up backwards. That's such a difficult thing to do because it's a blind landing when you come in. Charging with the ET, pedaling over the hip, transferring up. Great lines out here for Oiki. You're seeing her really utilize the course, not in a traditional linear fashion. Back and forth in a backflip.
Oiki
wow.
getting that one. Looked like she took her foot off. Almost was going to put it down, but didn't touch. It's not going to count as a full touchdown. But Oiki Minato pulling out all the stops right there, finishing off strong, that crowd-pleasing backflip.
Thing to note, I know we just saw her go upside down and keep it together, but that was at the end of her run. You know how winded and tired you are after being on such a big course? I mean, you can see all the elevation changes out here. It takes so much energy for a rider to utilize their body weight and pump in the transitions to keep speed flowing throughout the course. And the fact that she's able to do it, and look at the backflip, upside down and around, didn't get the distance there, but her foot didn't fully step down, as you said, and thankfully she was able to ride away.
Well, we got some big action coming your way. That was your defending champion, well, our defending title holder out of Montpellier from last year, Oiki Minato. But right now, up next, for the fourth rider here in heat number 1, it's going to be Deem Natalia. This is going to be her first fight. Wow, and the score comes in, though, for Oiki Minato, an 81.40. That's going to be an incredibly high score to hold through, and that was what she was looking for out of her first run. Moving up next, I was saying it is our first, or her first, finals for Deem Natalia, coming out of Australia. Here at the FISE, the first time that she has made it into the finals. What does she have for us? The crowd is getting on her feet.
Yeah, the Colony rider, super talented. We are about to see Natalia light things up. All 4 of our riders started on the same part of the course, but taking a different approach over that box jump. I believe that was a big nothing right there, taking all of her limbs off and then choosing to do a no-hander on that quarter pipe transfer. Great use of the transfer up, transfer down. It's all about the speed and flow out here. You can see just how high the elevation changes are, and Natalia making use of it with the big tail up the pedals.
Yeah, a nice 1-foot can over the hip feature there.
That tail whip was flawless, and it was done with 30 seconds to go. Tire grab up. Natalia looking so confident as the Colony rider tail taps coming back at us.
Beautiful tail tap as well. You were just mentioning the execution of her tail whip. Then we got into that tire tap. There was no bobble. There was no second pogo on top. Very confident riding and execution with these tricks from Natalia.
Yeah, that's a thing that I just really want to highlight why Ryan's bringing that up. I know a tail tap might be considered more of an entry-level trick, but it's not about that. It's about the bike control. It's about the style. It's about the way things are executed throughout your run on the course. And that's what we were talking about as far as women's BMX going to the next level. We saw Natalia do the same thing with her tail whip out there. I know that could be traditionally a more difficult trick, but it's all about the bike control. Even on that toboggan, perfect execution. She grabs the seat and nose dove all the way in. We're seeing another look that was actually a no-foot one-hander over the box jump. From our perspective, it was a little hard to see, but either way, she got full execution and full stretch out there. Really big hit over that step up. You see Natalia with the huge smile on her face. She is definitely excited about her first run, but it's not up to us to say. Our 5 judges are going to be putting that score 1 to 100 to see where she will be sitting on top. Oiki Minoto from Japan has the 81.40. Hopefully, Natalia will be able to bust into the 80s, maybe even a high 80s, and put a little distance between her and the first other 3 riders who were on the course.
Just want to highlight as well, she had some incredible height and really showed a lot of composure with the first time she's been in this final. I really love watching all the women out here push the sport so much, and as well just want to give a huge shout out. Thanks so much for coming and really progressing the sport with the numbers of contestants that are showing up. We had over 30 for the qualification period, worked our way down now to the top 12, so it's nice to see some new faces out here for the ladies.
So we're going back to the top. First 4 riders are going to get re-racked and ready to drop. Again, our riders, it's best run format counts, so even if they do a similar approach on the course, they are not going to be penalized. And it looks like going to start things off from the same exact spot. Anelia doing that turn down, getting the full extension over that step, but having a little difficulty on the second hit, slipping a pedal. Now, if a rider does put a foot down or has a crash, they're able to continue going throughout the course of time, but they will be penalized. And we have seen here from the UCI, who has definitely been setting the standard as far as BMX competition goes, really penalizes riders. This is the Olympic qualifiers and the point series, and they want to see perfection out here from our riders utilizing that full clock. Had that bar spin fly out with 20 seconds to go up here. Zacharias wall ride, very confident, hitting the tires on both. Hitting the tires with both force on the wall, coming back in around that pocket. Here's the bike control we're talking about. Let's see how she's able to utilize the final 3, 2, 1, and that is going to be time for Analia Zacharias. Look at the support out here. We've got all of our fans, our thousands and thousands who are making their way here in beautiful Montpellier, showing their support for our female riders, throwing up that round of applause. Yeah, there you go. Full extension on that turn down. Got the bike past the 90 degrees and the handlebars twisted. So that's actually over 180 with the head tube and the back end, because you add up the 2 90s, and there you go. That is a clicked turn down over the spine. For all of our riders at home who are wondering how the ramps feel out here, they are enormous. That spine is very intimidating the first time you go over it. It's 6 feet on one side and well over 10 on the other. So it is a blind step down. It's not easy to get comfortable and get twisted sideways like that, which we just saw out of Anelia. So a 56.60, that is going to be the second score. The first score is going to be the one that sticks, a 56.60.
That score to beat right now is set by Japan's Oiki Minoto with an 81.40, our first athlete to push into the 80s. So we move to right now, sitting currently with a 64.80, Jennifer Wohlraab from Germany as she drops in for her second attempt here. 1 minute on the clock. Coming nice over that spine and with speed into this box jump. Looking like an X-up into a turn down right there.
Yeah, you see Jennifer right now charging with a little bit more power than her first run, and that's why she was able to twist her bars and kick the back end out over the box jump and also on that turn down on the quarter pipe. You're seeing her take that same approach out here as she does that foot plant back end up out of that island as Jennifer utilizes the first 30 seconds. Very smooth out there. We're seeing a one-footer on the quarter pipe charging back over the spine as she pumps down. Jennifer bypassing that step up but transfer into the vert wall. Let's see, she's pouring on the throttle as she goes up with the one-handed toboggan. 1 foot X-up, great extension on that foot, getting things totally sideways. Jennifer, 5 seconds, looking for a final thought out here. She is just cutting the corners. And that is going to be time for run number 2 for Jennifer. So we talk about this being a points race to Tokyo. You could go to UCI.org to find out all of the current results and standings for our riders. But right now, the current country that is in the lead is the United States, followed by Germany and Japan in third. Then in fourth is Great Britain, and fifth will be Switzerland. So those are our top 5 orders of our countries: USA, Germany, Japan, Great Britain, and Switzerland. Jennifer's score will be a 64.80. And the reason that I bring up the scores is because Japan is being held down in that third place spot by none other than Oiki Minato,
who is currently sitting on top in that hot seat right now of the contest with an 81.40. So a lot of things happening out here with points as we're pushing forward. It's really about that championship, but as well here today, it's all about Montpellier and the crowd. Beautiful turn down into tuck no hander. Again, really high, getting a nice transfer there on the wall, and a tail whip in for Oiki, but she doesn't land it.
Wow, looking to roll the dice on her second run, trying for that tail whip into the elevated platform. You could hear on-course MC Catfish getting the crowd hyped up and showing the support. Oh, going down a second time. Look at this, showing the determination why she was champion last year in 2018 at this stop, back on it as she charges with 20 seconds to go. Let's see if she'll able to get the momentum or maybe just be a little bit winded.
Wow, still some time left on the clock. She hasn't given up yet. Oiki Minato.
We might see a big trick right here. This might be something that she's doing for the fans. Let's see.
Oh, yes, and a perfect backflip, actually. Great rotation with that one. Had way more speed, and that does it for Japan's Oiki Minato. She knew that she wasn't going to get the points with this one, but had to push out that final backflip for the crowd.
That was a huge flip. You saw such a difference in the approach from the first one. The first time she didn't, she barely got her front wheel over, and then the second time you saw her just charge so confidently towards the box, taking all those pedals and going the distance. There was a fully cranked turn down. Her body and bike were positioned past that 180 as well. You saw the full twist. There's the tail whip, kicking the back end around. Unfortunately, wasn't able to pull the handlebars far enough under her, so the bike was off to the side a little bit. But here's a look at that backflip coming around, cased it just a little bit. That's such a tall step landing, and since she didn't get the full distance, that's why her feet blew off, but she was able to cruise. So the 81.40 is going to be her top score from her first run. That is going to be the one holding her strong, currently still in that first place. Well, one rider still to remain in heat number 1. This is the Australia's Natalia Diem. Her first run was a 76 flat. Let's see if she could up the ante. She's going to need about 5 points higher to bump out Oiki Minoto. Natalia right here dropping things off. Let's see it. Toboggan getting that big nosedive going.
That's textbook toboggan right there. No foot, one-hander. Beautiful textbook tuck no-hander.
Yeah, the height is something we want to talk about in that quarter pipe with the no-hander. Really getting that big boost. Look at the way she's utilizing the course. We're seeing all of our women riders out here just find lines that are not linear and that really utilize the elevation changes. This is really exciting to see. That tail whip was such a huge thing to put in the middle of the run. Natalia charging over that step up.
Going up for disaster this time, setting things apart from her first run. Tire grab over top of the little hip right there. Coming up into our Occitanie region quarter pipe and flowing back. You said utilizing so much, not just taking a linear approach to the course, but flowing all over the place and right down to the buzzer, the manual over that deck beside the box jump.
Yeah, even just seeing that bike control, the nose bonk right there. You saw her just press the front tire over the side of that island. It's so cool to see the bike control beyond the tricks, but that was a huge one for Natalia, that tail whip. Very consistent, 2 for 2. Didn't get the foot all the way back on as clean as she would have liked, but still to do in the middle of the run. Not many women are throwing down tail whips, let alone consistently like that from Natalia.
With the UCI BMX Freestyle World Cup Women's Final. That's right, heat number 1 just finished. Let's take a look back and see some of the highlighted action from our first 4 women on course.
Well, our women were definitely turning things up in our final. Look at the backflip from Minato Oiki. She was not able to go the full distance right there, but she does on that no-hander all the way to the landing, full stretch, getting things going. That was a beautiful turn down air by Jennifer Woolrob. And here's a look at Natalia Diem, no foot one-hander over the box jump. The Colony rider with big extension, getting things to the side. And I love the height on that no-hander transfer. Here is definitely a perfect tail whip. You see her just slip the pedal a little bit with that right one, but still, I'm gonna give it to her. The reason I said perfect was just the way that back end rotated all the way around, so smooth, and she was 2 for 2 on that trick.
And I mean, not just pulling it on a straight jump, but as well doing it on a quarter pipe area. So you have to as well take in consideration the riders are turning in a 180-degree movement. But moving up to our next riders, heat number 4, Macarena Perez, Angie Marino, Lara Lessman, and Chelsea Wolf. What a heat.
Chile, USA, Germany, and USA are going to be the 3 countries that are holding things down. Again, just to recap right now,
well, we are up here for heat number 2. We were just speaking about how incredible that heat is going to look. Macarena Perez, Angie Marino, Lara Lessman, and Chelsea Wolf. Right now you see on top of the grid from Chile, Macarena Perez about to drop in, qualified in, I believe, 8th position right there. And she is ready to do it.
Macarena Perez, Santiago, Chile, grew up just outside of Parque de los Reyes, a concrete skate park with a lot of big, steep transitions. So it's going to be interesting to see how she's able to transfer those skills to our big vert quarter pipes, which are predominantly featured on one end of this course. Macarena looking very comfortable as she throws down a big tabletop air after that box jump. Yes, doing a one-handed version over that hip, laying things to the side, and look at that. That's what I was talking about, the confidence as she just carves around that corner so high and builds momentum and speed. Whoa, big tail whip right there.
Wow, talking about not doing a linear tail whip and that huge toboggan way out of that vert wall. Macarena showing us that she has the confidence that is needed to get on top of the box here in this heavy competition. Wow, going for a big transfer.
Maka just pouring things on with 9 seconds to go. Transfer over the island. Let's see if she can pull something else out with these final moments. Maka, and it looks like she's gonna wave it off. But Ryan, that was a big run. That tail whip was such a centerpiece, not only of her run, but done on the centerpiece of the course. It's such a more difficult trick to do on that ramp. One, it's a lot taller than the quarter pipe we saw Natalia Diem do earlier. But the fact that it's not a traditional transition, it goes up, and then it's a little bit more of an embankment, so you got to utilize a little bit more of a bunny hop, but you see that she's got that pop and power on that tabletop where she pulls her bike to the side. There
Great
you go,
look
clicking the look back, and then it's all about this tail whip coming up, getting that bunny hop, and so smooth to the pedals for Macarena Perez.
Wow, that was a completely perfect tail whip, and it wasn't even on a quarter pipe. This is a strange new feature that the Hurricane Parks has decided to sculpt here and see how are the BMX athletes going to be able to tackle this one. Well, Macarena Perez showing us how she wants to showcase her style on that one. We're just going to be waiting for the judges to put in that score. They want to plug and play with this one, but I think it's going to be a high one. Let's see where it links up. A 78.80 right below Oike Minoto. Good enough for second place. Pushes Dima into third right there. As we move to our second women in this heat of two, that is Angie Marino from the United States.
Angie's such a powerful rider, known for the way she can flow around a course. Definitely puts more of an emphasis on style. As far as her individual rankings, she's currently sitting fourth for the United States. Big no-hander over that step box jump. Angie finished 6th in Hiroshima, so that means for our FISE World Series, she's sitting 6th in points, and you can see why she can do so well in the finals with the big tabletop air like that. Up the vert wall, Marino charging back at us. Where's she going? A lot of speed, big tire grab over that step. So difficult to do when most riders are winded. You saw difficulty getting over it at that point in their run, but Marino right now showing you that she's got that flow to keep her speed going. That's such an important thing. A rider wants to work the course. They want to land really high to keep that energy up and not be working against it where they got to wind up putting in a ton of pedals. And Marino just showing you that she's able to flow with 4 seconds.
2 seconds left. This one's gonna be at the buzzer. That X up was setting up for that one. I think it does count. We would have to give that to our UCI delegate, Bart Young, on top of the course there. Angie Marino, though, doing a full pull right to the buzzer. That's what we were talking about, getting tricks all the way until that 1 minute run is up. Let's take a look back at some of the highlights right here. That tuck no-hander over the box jump. I want to highlight how she's getting the full distance on that, and it is a big box jump. It's not something you're going to find in any park in the world. Hurricane has one of the largest box jumps that the BMXers have ever gone to.
Yeah, and Angie putting down a large first run. We're going to see if the score winds up reflecting that. We talk about women's BMX freestyle and the bike control. Angie's definitely one of the ones who has showcased it the most throughout the course of the years with our riders, pushing things to a whole nother level. Angie finished 6th last year in Montpellier, and right now she's getting a 72.20 for her score.
Well, next rider up has been on our radar for a long time. Let's take a look and see who Lara Lessman is. Lara Lessman, everyone right there from Germany, has been dominating with some incredible extension on her tricks, but as well putting in combinations, showing us that she has the bar spin and especially the combinations with those can-cans. Let's see what she can do out here for her first run in Montpellier. Lara Lessman on course.
Lara having a great start to her season. She got second in Hiroshima at the first stop of the FISE World Series. Great bar spin to X-up variation over the box jump. Lara making Germany proud. The country is currently sitting in second with combined scores from herself and Jennifer Wohlraab. They are trailing just behind the USA as far as our points race goes. Wall ride, double tire, smashing the wall, coming off as Lara charges with enough speed to get the no-footed can-can.
That's
30
beautiful.
seconds to go as she tire taps back at us.
Beautiful trick right there, that no-foot can, getting it in the contest, and has some great height and speed going through this whole entire course, utilizing that foot plant on the wall, getting some unique line choice right here. 1 foot can coming back up into the other way of the park. One hand air as she goes into a nice turn down on the spine and into the box jump with a big extension on that 1 foot can right down to the last second.
Wow, Lara pouring it on for Germany out there. Tons of great riding, utilizing the full course. We're seeing the technical ability with the bar spin variations. Let's take a look at grabbing the seat behind her leg and then over the box jump, the full bar spin to X up. Such a difficult thing to do where you throw the handlebars around and you have to put it on, but she's very comfortable with that can-can trick. There is the no-footed version where she puts both of her feet over the top tube. Here's a look over the hip as she does a one-footed can-can, and then at the end of the run, showing the judges she's not winded. She's able to put that big exclamation point on as she does that can-can, but actually pulls the handlebars up into her to get the full extension for the style points of the can-can over the top tube.
So the score to beat actually is still set by that first run from Oiki Minoto, our defending FISE Montpellier champion from last year. It's an 81.40. That's what all these women are looking to push for. Can Lara get on top? She does! A new leader, an 84.60. Lara Lessman from Germany is in the hot seat.
Wow, big run and a big score to match, 84.60. You can see that is 3 full points higher than Minato Oiki. But we have one rider yet to remain a heat number 2. We have yet to see them in the finals. We're talking about the sensation Chelsea Wolf. She rode so well in Hiroshima where she made the finals and she got 5th place. Chelsea's been riding fantastic this weekend so far. She actually got 1st place in our first ever Spine Finals for women. Let's see the GT rider charge things off. Chelsea Wolf starting things with a superwoman over that box jump right into a toboggan air on the quarter pipe.
Wow, this is some stuff that we were highlighting in Hiroshima. Look at that 270 off of the quarter pipe into the wall right there. I mean, this is the style that we were talking about from Chelsea Wolf that really blew us away. Style and the bike control, how she is able to flow through this park.
Yeah, it's all about the bike control. I loved seeing that pocket air out of the quarter pipe. And then the Ruben wall ride. It's called the Ruben wall ride after our judge, Ruben Alcantara, who's the legend of the sport, who helped define that wall ride. 15 seconds, Chelsea throwing down a Canadian nose pick. That's because she has the front brake on her bike. She's able to put the front wheel on the coping, charging that step up, 360.
Yes, Chelsea.
Wow, that was a big run for Chelsea and getting an even bigger round of applause here in Montpellier. As our fans, you can see, pouring into the Less River to support all of our female riders. So Ryan, let's take a look at the highlights as we break down Chelsea's big run. That was a great way to start things off, the Superwoman. But to me, the highlights were definitely that that 270 alley-oop into the quarter pipe, and then she was able to hit the pocket air. The reason those are such defining things, because it's all about the bike control, especially on that Ruben wall ride, and then to have the power to keep your speed with the endurance of the 360. That was a huge run out there.
It makes you think as well, maybe she's going to get some extra points for that Ruben wall ride with some of our judges up there. Ruben Alcantara as well helping us on that panel, and Chelsea Wolfe waiting right now to see where she's going to link up. A great score, an 82.60, good enough for second place. Chelsea Wolfe has put her name in that podium contention as our three women are into the 80s right now. Lara Lessman up top, Chelsea Wolfe in second, and Oiki Minocho in third place with an 81.40. Next up, right now, we have the second run, I believe, going for Macarena Perez. She's getting the crowd hyped up here. Her current score is sat with the 78.80, where she got that from the first place. Let's see if she can improve coming out on the second round. Tuck no hander right there.
Setting up on the quarter pipe, big tabletop air at the 5-foot mark, blasting out of that quarter pipe. Let's see Macarena Perez, one-handed version of the tabletop, showing you that she's got the comfort when it comes to the big quarter pipes as she carves around that bowl 2 times, pumping in. You can see her generating speed. Going up for the tail whip again, 2 for 2. One of the most difficult tricks that we've seen so far of our women's final. Doing it on that island. Again, that's not a traditional quarter pipe. That's a transition into an embankment. So she has to rely on the bunny hop as she brings it around. Maka charging up and over for the transfer. This time grabbing some more transition, and you see she carves the opposite direction around that bowl corner. Let's see if Maka can find her footing with 5 seconds to go.
And that's gonna do it for Macarena Perez. From Argentina, pardon me.
So that is going to be the way it's going to wrap up. But let's look at that tabletop for Maka. And here's a one-handed version, so stylish right there, laying things over, taking the hand off. And here's that tail whip. You actually saw her front wheel come up and out of the top of that quarter pipe, which is so cool to do. That's a huge hop coming around and a very big trick. Maka's first run score was a 78.80. It looks like that's going to be her best of the day. So she is going to be sitting just outside of a potential podium as we still work our way through heat number 2.
Moving next to USA Cycling's Angie Marino. She as well is looking for an improvement in that score. She's in 6th position currently as the scores sit. Dropping in right here into the spine jump, tuck no hander. Coming up to the box with another tuck, not quite getting the full extension on that one. 1 foot air on the quarter pipe, coming back into the vert wall section.
Angie living out in Southern California. She rides with Paris Benengues on the regular. So she has been perfecting her skills, bringing it here for the second stop as she charges towards our step-up feature. Tire grab, and then grab at the seat right there. The Cult Rider coming back as she hits 25 seconds to go. I love Angie's riding, Ryan. You just see that she has that bike control so high up on the vert wall. Going for that transfer. You can hear her pull her brakes to adjust the speed. Sets up for that one-hander. There is an alley-oop into the quarter pipe. Angie into the elevated section. Back at us. Gonna opt for the step up for one last hit. That was a smooth toboggan into that one-hander. Second run for Angie Marino is in the books.
Well, there you go. We're gonna have to wait and see. Giving the camaraderie, cheers to her fellow BMX athletes up there.
Yeah, Angie, one of the best riders out there, just so smooth. She definitely was pioneering BMX as far as the bike control for our women riders go. And we're seeing a lot of them start to follow suit in terms of just overall bike control style and skill out there. Angie currently sitting 4th for our individual points going towards the Olympics, and it looks like Angie 72.20 is going to be her best from the first run.
Here we go. Next up for Lara Lessman. You saw the capsule collection of some of her top riding right before her first run. But right now, let's see if we get a bit more for that highlight reel. Lara dropping in the behind the back seat grab.
Let's see if Lara changes her approach for run number 2. She's currently sitting in that top spot, so she knows what it takes out there. And there we have it, a pedal flip on the way up. Such a cool trick, able to kick the cranks around and find your feet to the pedals. Lara Lessman charging back at us, 37 seconds as she wall rides to X up this time. Looking to throw a few more toppings on her score, trying to pump the points up. 84.60, 100 is the best she can do. And Lara getting that X up over the box jump backwards. That is so difficult to do because not only is your landing a lot steeper, but that is totally blind coming in. You cannot see where you're going off the top of that takeoff. Lara.
Wow. That's the big transfer over top of that kicker right there on the hip jump. We'll get another look at that probably in the replay. 1 foot can there, turn down, and to the end with the combinations. Lara Lessman, everyone.
Lara getting that full pull out there, utilizing the clock. The total rider catching her breath. That was such a big run. I mean, she had the bar spin variation. She also threw in that pedal flip where she kicked the feet around, and then had the entire use of the clock to the end. But let's take a look. Bar spin around and then twisting, not a full X up, but still had the bike control in order to do it. There was that pedal flip right on top of the deck. Lara wall ride to the X up, twisting the handlebars around. Here's a look at the no-footed can-can, digging how her bike just motos to the side, gets fully laid over and almost tabletops her bike without her feet on. There's a foot plant on the wall. Transfer up, and she also had that X up over the box backwards. Big run for Lara, but will it be enough to up her current score, which she is sitting in that first place spot already with an 84.60.
Score coming in. It's not going to be enough to improve. 84.60 stays on top in that hot seat. Nail-biting moments as we have Chelsea Wolf drop in next. She's currently sitting in the second place with an 82.60. I know she has what it takes to improve on that score. We've seen her in Japan that just blew us away, actually, where she came out and just showed us some of the most incredible riding poise we've seen so far in women's BMX. Let's see if she can add to that here on this big course from Hurricane Parks. Chelsea Wolf, run 2 into the box jump. The big Superman slipping a pedal right there. If you notice, she decided to not hit the spine, gathered the speed coming down so she could really go into that box jump with authority.
Chelsea, one of the most exciting riders we've seen explode onto the course this year as she does a big look back air, fishtail air, turn down on that vert quarter pipe. The bike control for Chelsea is just something else. She finished in 5th place in Hiroshima. There's a look at the Rubin wall ride. She didn't get her bike as vertically up and down and nosedived in as she did the first time. But Chelsea with that Canadian nose pick, 2 for 2, utilizing the upper body strength and the balance precision on the coping. It would have been considered a regular nose pick if her wheel was next to the coping, but the fact that she's bouncing, nose diving in, that's why it's a Canadian. 360 coming up. She's excited, throwing her bike, throwing up the double peace signs in the air, and Chelsea Wolf getting it done on her second run.
Good job, Chelsea Wolf, getting that full pull. Feels amazing out there.
There's that Superwoman putting the feet back, pedal slipping a little bit. I love that alley-oop right there, finding it into that quarter pipe, just doing that 270 down. There's a turn down out of the big vert quarter pipes. And there's a look at the Rubin wall ride, trying to get that bike completely vertical to the 90 degree with the nose dive in. There's the Canadian nose pick. You see she has that front brake on her bike. She's the only rider in our final to have a front brake. It's a choice of how a rider wants to set their bike up. They definitely are keeping the freestyle out there as Chelsea gets her second run score of an 80.20.
We've got a lot of things happening in women's BMX. So we put a bit together to talk about the highlights, what you're going to be seeing out there from the women this year.
Super talented and super motivated. So like when you're trying to coach people that all they want to do is learn, like it's really nice because they learn fast and like they don't hesitate.
Ryan's such a great guy. He's actually an amazing coach, and it's cool that he's still riding the contest with the guys and coaching us because, you know, I always make deals with him, like, you know, it's either like if I don't do this, then I'll give you 20 bucks. And having somebody that you could really, like, you know, feed off of is probably the best feeling ever because it just inspires so much growth. So he's an amazing coach.
Being able to ride the course myself and then being able to explain to them how the course rides and feels and just be able to have them trust me with that. It's just been quite an adventure, but one that I'm like really kind of passionate about, honestly. Like it's just rad seeing these girls like kind of go out there and just like push themselves and progress. And honestly, I feel like the most progression we've seen has been in the women's category. And so for me, being a part of that is really exciting.
Seeing the full teams makes the whole Olympic thing surreal. Like, it's every time I walk in, it's like you can't even forget it because there's people from different people that you've never met before that are like the coolest people. But you're like, oh, you're a rider, and they're like, no, I'm this country's team leader. This, and it's just like, okay, like we're this close. Like this is a little nerve-wracking, but it's all in good spirits. We want the same goals. There's three that I'm really worried about, and that would be Nikita because she's been on overall podium for like the last 2 years, so she kind of like stressing me out a little bit. And Laura, obviously, because she's always been such a phenomenal rider, and then Paris because she's just like killing it. She's making a name for herself, which is awesome to see, but she's kind of scaring me a little bit.
And the progression, like Ryan was saying, is coming out of women's BMX, the biggest that we see there. And these four athletes, Nikita Ducaros, Charlotte Worthington coming off that big win in Madrid, Paris Benenga, our 2018 world champion, and Hannah Roberts, the 2018 UCI BMX World Cup overall champ. Looking forward to see these four women start off the third and final heat out here at the UCI BMX Women's Freestyle Pro Final. Nikita Ducaros is going to be your first athlete starting things off for us.
Nikita Ducaro doing it for Switzerland. Swiss currently sitting in 5th place because of Nikita's efforts throughout the course of our points race. Nikita charging things out. She finished in 7th in Hiroshima. Last year, she finished very strong here in Montpellier in 2nd place. As Nikita Ducaro over the box, 1 foot X up to can-can. You heard the wise words of Hannah Roberts saying that she is watching out for Nikita because she has been a strong podium finisher for the last few years, and we want to see Nikita on top. The Mongoose rider definitely has the skill set and the tricks to do it, as we are seeing a great run so far. 15 seconds to go for Nikita. Toboggan on the hip, setting up for an alley-oop over that hip, coming backwards up the vert wall. Nikita pouring it on as she goes over the box. One hand X up right there, twisting things up, and a can-can lander at the buzzer.
Wow, some great riding there from Nikita Ducaros as well. Big exclamation on some of the execution right there, and originality, a one-handed X up. We haven't seen that from any of the other women on course today. Let's take a look back, see some of these highlights. Tuck no hander right there, could have had a little bit more extension if I'm being picky with the judges, but then pushing into that 1 foot can X up to 1 foot X up to 1 foot can. That combination there is what the judges are going to look for.
There was a great extension on another no-hander, and then right here, the one-hander, twisting it a little bit past the toboggan. It wasn't a full X-up, but it was still cool to see that originality out there, especially with that can-can lander over the top tube as she winds up cruising on down. So Nikita Ducaro, such a powerful rider. Again, we said last year she finished 2nd place in 2018 here in Montpellier, and overall on the FISE World Series she got 3rd, and it looks like she's going to earn a 3rd place spot with an 82 flat, so she's going to move in front of Oito Minaki as she sits in the 3rd place spot. 3 more riders remain as we work through heat number 3.
Charlotte Worthington coming out for British cycling and coming off of a huge win at our FISE European first stop out in Madrid, Spain. Starting things with that tire grab into a toboggan over the box jump there.
British cycling currently sitting in 4th for our points race as we work towards Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Charlotte Worthington showing you a lot of bike control as she flows with confidence through those bowl corners, tabletop hip. Charlotte being cheered on by Jamie Bestwick, the coach of British cycling, as she does a huge wall ride going the distance. Furthest transfer we've seen so far on that wall. Difficult to do because you got to make sure your tires stick as you are going from left to right.
One thing I really want you guys to watch here is the lack of pedaling that she's taking on course. If only a half crank, maximum 1 crank in between the lines that she is selecting, but she is trying to utilize her thighs and pump through all these transitions, something that is lacking in the previous 2 heats. I really like to see that flow movement coming from Charlotte's riding.
Well, one thing to also note in her run, she did a wall ride in both directions. We actually saw the opposite wall ride as we progressed through. But Ryan, you mentioned the lack of pedaling out there. Now, why is it one rider would be able to cruise on the course and take the pedals and one rider would be able to make it through without pedaling?
Well, it's basically the way that you're entering and exiting the transitions and the takeoffs. If you're able to hit that transition perfect, you carry your velocity and your movement forward and pump at the very apex of the ramp as it goes down into the flat bottom. Then you pump on your way up and it creates this velocity without pedaling. That's what you really want to have when you move into the absolute top tier of this sport.
And for any of our non-riders, what it means by pump is where you utilize and push your body into that transition. It actually generates as you change direction from going in vertically to horizontally, and you can build some speed out there. So Charlotte Worthington, her score was coming in 78, but we are going to keep things rolling. You see our next rider rocking the UCI rainbow jersey. That means because she was the 2018 UCI World Champion. This is USA's Paris Benenguez. Paris doing it for Colt as she cruises in, tire grab. Look at the style. The bike was completely to the side.
As well with that no-fit can, and the first one to do that transfer from the honor quarter pipe over the other quarter and wall. Wow, some vengeance and fast moving pace. Look at the amplitude on that toboggan. Only rider we've seen today getting the height on these airs.
Paris riding the course like no other female athlete we've seen so far. She's got the speed, the flow, and the height, putting things together, transfer up, transfer out. Look how she's able to keep the momentum as she can stepping over that top tube, 1-footer coming up. If Paris can keep the momentum like she had in the first part of her course, this could be a very top score.
Wow, that was a nice one, going for a tire tap, reaching back over the bars, and then into a seat grab without touching the handlebars. It looks like a great trick and execution there. Into a tuck, no-hander, and back. Some great riding from Paris Benenguez right to the buzzer of this run.
That was a big run for Paris. Hopefully the score will reflect that. That is why she has that UCI rainbow jersey on. Last year in 2018 in Chengdu, China, she took top honors. That toboggan, that tire grab got so twisted to the side as she went over the spine. And then the no-footed can, smooth and clean. That air was the biggest we've seen in our women's competition over the hip as she pulled completely up to the sky, getting the X up, twisting the handlebars on that transfer. Even that no-hander had her back end just float up and over the spine.
Yes, and a respective score coming in. Paris Benenguez, first woman to push into the 90s with a 90.6 as she gets the pounds and the excitement starts. Well, Hannah Roberts here, defending 2018 UCI BMX World Cup overall champion, is about to set her foot on the course. Hannah Roberts eye of the tiger, and coming off of that win in Hiroshima, had an injury off of her first run with a big crash and came down. Look at the riding here, a double bar spin, X up into bar spin. Wow, Hannah is on it.
Hannah Roberts trying not to leave anything for question, as we just saw big bar spin variations on each hit. There's one more coming back at us over the hip. Hannah wall rides so high, charging down. Roberts winning first place in Hiroshima, so that means she's our current points leader for our FISE World Series as she tail whips over the hip. Roberts charging back, 22 seconds to go. You see her digging deep, trying to keep her energy going as Hannah pouring it up, charging towards that step. 360, getting all the way up into a flare.
Yes, Hannah Roberts throws out the backflip, 180 on the quarter pipe, and a bar spin to finish it off. Not going to the buzzer, but one of the biggest runs we've seen out there for the women today.
You hear the fans in Montpellier and around the world cheering Hannah Roberts on as she just put in a huge a huge round of riding, and I hope the score is going to reflect that, because she is just on one right now. Tail whip over that spine, that is so difficult to do, into the bar spin 2 times around, just touches her hands to the grips, and then you see the X up to bar spin. That was a big combination, so difficult with the hands. Tail whip this time over the hip coming in, and Hannah right here had the momentum to get the 360 up, and then right here said, I am not done yet. This is the Hannah Roberts show, and I'm gonna show you with that flare. That is the backflip with the 180, and she landed high up into that transition right there, close to the coping.
Wow, and a new leader is born here in Montpellier. Hannah Roberts just pushes out Paris Benenguez into second place. 93 is the new bar to beat. Hannah Roberts, though, we're talking about the difference within her riding style. She is just coming out with those tricks on lock. She has bar spins so dialed that she's able to put them as filler tricks, has the tail whips that she's able to do it into transitions and transfers. Really setting it apart, though, is that flair that she has. Let's see if any of the other competitors can answer back in their second run while Nikita Ducaros drops in.
The Swiss BMX rider starting things off, 1 foot table over the hip. Nikita Ducaro, a very focused rider. She wants to bring it and move on up, as she's currently sitting in 5th place. She knows that it's going to take a big score, potentially in the 90s, to be on that podium. 1 foot X up to can-can, X up on the quarter pipe. Ducaro transferring into the island, 1 foot X up, transfer back. Let's see if she builds momentum on that vert wall. Oh, big bar spin coming up, throwing the handlebars around. You see a little bit of a back tire tap on the coping as she spotted the landing, but toboggan over the hip. Nikita getting alley-oop, 10 seconds with a 540. That was huge.
That was the answering back to the flair that we were looking for, getting a trick like this. Nikita Ducaros has had difficulty with this at the end of her run in previous contests, but answered perfectly with that 540 in Montpellier.
That trick takes such commitment, but let's look at the 1 foot X to can-can, so smooth as far as twisting the handlebars and stepping over the top. There's a full bar spin around, very big trick right there over the step, the alley-oop over the hip, and then it's all about the 540. Look how smooth as she transfers into the quarter with a very sweet spot on that landing, looking over the shoulder. So Nikita's first score was an 82. The score to beat is a 93 to be in the top spot that Hannah Roberts currently holds on to. You can see on your screen Nikita Ducaro and our current leader Hannah Roberts.
Score coming in, it's an improvement up to 4th place, an 84.00. Not good enough, though, to touch that podium. Lara Lessman is still sitting there with an 84.60. Hannah Roberts, though, comfortably on top of the 93, and Paris Benenguez 2.5 points away from that in a 90.0. Well, going back to our defending winner from Montpellier, from Madrid, our FISE event over there with the European Series. This is Charlotte Worthington.
The tall order rider coming down with a no-hander over the spine. Charlotte is a very competitive rider. Let's see how she adjusts her strategy, knowing that she's going to need to score into the 90s to get in that top position. Charlotte pumping around the bull corners. I love the way to see the generative speed without pedaling. That's what you were talking about in the first run, and we're seeing Charlotte do the same as she looks to that wall ride transfer, trying to go the distance coast to coast across the middle part of the landing.
Toboggan right there. We are really going to need to see some trick difficulty improvements as we move forward to the last 15 seconds of this run if Charlotte wants to improve her score and touch that top 5.
Charlotte doing an opposite air in, setting up no-hander, great extension, wingspan fully out on the no-hander, X up on the quarter pipe.
That's going to do it for Charlotte Worthington, second chance out here in France. A great consistency throughout her riding here. Tuck no-hander has great execution. I like that she's sticking to the tricks that she can do so well. Toboggan perfectly clicked with the handlebars there, down to the seat.
Yeah, Charlotte's so smooth out there. You're seeing that foot plant right on top, put it on that white line, meaning the top highest spot on that quarter. There is coming back at us, twisting the handlebars, and Charlotte getting that second run. As we said, her first run score was a 78, and you can see the improvement, 79.50, but not enough to put her into that podium spot, as we still have 2 riders remaining.
And second place is going to be on the deck right now. Paris Beniguez, your 2018 world champion. That's why she's in the rainbow jersey there. Let's see if she can answer back to Hannah Roberts with height and style like that on the tire grab and great execution of that no-fit can. Our only rider transferring the distance on that channel there.
Paris, big tabletop, taking the handoff. That was enormous.
That is something we are expecting to see from the top tier of women's BMX here. The height from Paris Beniguez.
Paris just tearing the course apart as she has 30 seconds to go. Team USA is currently our points leader, and it's the 2 combined score of Hannah Roberts and Paris Beniguez. Paris on course, as she is looking to up the ante and take over the top spot held onto by Hannah Roberts. Paris is just looking so confident and clean out here as she looks to go the distance, this time taking off on the lower quarter pipe. You are hearing being cheered on as she has a final moment over that step, and a big run, number 2 from Paris Beniguez.
Well, putting it down to the wire, this is going to be the only competitor who is able to take that top spot away from Hannah Roberts. You see there on the left-hand side of your screen. I don't think it's going to be enough, however. Pushing all the way to the end, my one judgment was that she should have maybe done a big trick on that last hit right at the buzzer. That was going to maybe solidify her spot to be able to take away that 3-point lead set by Hannah Roberts. However, that was the highlight for me in this run, that huge tabletop soaring over that hip, one of the biggest jumps we have seen all day from BMX.
Paris looking so confident out there, and she is wearing that UCI rainbow jersey. That's because she's the 2018 UCI World Champion. Trying to up the ante, and it's not enough to beat out Hannah Roberts, so that is going to be a 90.60. Her first run score is going to be her top for the day. That means that Hannah Roberts with that 93 is going to be our top leader, and yet still to take her second run on the course.
Means we're going to have a victory lap set for the finals here. the UCI BMX Freestyle Park Women's Pro Final. Hannah Roberts, she's going to have her 1 minute of fame, and a great way to end it out here in the southern French sun. A victory lap for the crowd here in Montpellier. Hannah Roberts for USA Cycling for her second time here in the finals. This is just for the crowd. She knows she's not going to put it on the line, but still putting a performance together for the audience with a 360 tuck no-hander into a tail whip, showcasing she has so much more in her bag of tricks.
Wow, Hannah Roberts getting it done in her first run. Like you said out there, just grandstanding a little bit. She is an international celebrity in the BMX world. And here in Montpellier, BMX is celebrated like no other. Hannah Roberts getting that top run. You can see the camaraderie out there as all of our women riders just giving each other the support on and off the course. You can see Hannah down there with Trish Bear, our medic, who's usually putting Hannah together when she has those crashes. Thankfully, none today, as Hannah Roberts just skying into that top spot with the highest score.
Well, that's really how we like to see it go down to the last two riders battling it out for that top position. Hannah Roberts, however, getting the lucky upper hand over Paris Beninguez. As you see on screen there, these are your top three: Hannah Roberts, Paris Beninguez, Lara Lesman, Nikita Ducaros, Chelsea Wolfe. That's the top five right there. Big thanks to our top 12: Oike Minoto, Charlotte Worthington, Macarena Perez, Natalia Deem, Angie Marino, Jennifer Woolrab, and Analia Zacharias. Those are your top 12 female UCI BMX athletes out there in France. An amazing contest happened in the Southern Sun. So much happening, but it was all about Hannah Roberts. Let's take a look back and see her first place run from run number 1. Here it is, Hannah Roberts, how she took away that champion here in Montpellier.
Ryan, this run was big from start to finish. Look at Hannah drop in. It's all about the bike control as she tail whips over the spine. And look at the handlebar control. Double bar spin and then switches things up with an X up to a bar spin back. Hannah, you can see though, she didn't lose her speed and has the momentum charging as she does a no-hander out of that big vert quarter pipe. Bar spin back over the island, and you just see the consistency. Each wall, she's able to put something down, especially that double tire ride, extremely high up, almost towards the top. There's a different variation of the tail whip. This time it is over a hip. She's able to pull the handlebars right under her and cleanly put both feet onto the pedals and make things go. Hannah right here showing you that she's got the endurance as she charges back with the 360, and then bam, that flare so high up on top of the coping, coming down with the speed and momentum. Big run for Hannah Roberts, showing you why she got that 93 and the highest score of our competition.
Wow, such an incredible run right there out of the gate, but we have so much action coming your way. The UCI BMX Freestyle Park men's semifinal is happening in 1 hour. Then we go to the World Roller Skate Roller Freestyle Finals, and then as well going to the Spine Finals, which is going to be happening tonight in the lights. One of the largest contests we have out here at the FISE. We didn't have you, Daryl, out there last night with us. Thanks, Dom, for filling in with us. It's been a great time doing that one with you. But we're going to have Daryl out there for the Spine, and a lot of action going to be happening under the lights.
Yeah, I always look forward to the energy here. I mean, the riding's top-notch. You guys know that. But the energy all the fans bring, it's like on no other competition in the world. It's very exciting to see.
And a new thing we actually have out there this year is we have a big music stadium, a big stage actually set. So there's going to be music live playing for for the audience out there, but as well, that crowd drawn out for the BMX Spine is one you guys do not want to miss. Well, it's a day at BMX mixed in with a bit of inline, some incredible action happening coming your way. If you guys want to stay tuned and check us out on social media, of course you can do that. Hit us up on Instagram and Twitter. It is at FISE World. Make sure you hashtag your post FISE Montpellier to stay involved with all the action. You get a lot of incredible content. Hit us up on YouTube. All you have to do is go into the search bar, type in FISE, F-I-S-E into the search bar, and you get all the behind the scenes action, all the replays, the recaps that we've been doing out here for the lives. But it's all about the women's BMX. As we just finished up the final, let's take a look and see how did our podium line up with the women. Let's go down on course.
The finals at any FISE is never disappointing, and the female finals were absolutely incredible. And now we're about to meet our podium finishers. In third place, from Germany, Laura Lessman.